All right, I'll go ahead and start here. Hello, everyone. This is Patricia Potter with Kirkland Solutions. I want to welcome you to the Society of Thoracic Surgeons Intermacs and PDmacs user group call. We're going to go ahead and get started here. Appreciate everybody for joining today. I just want to welcome everybody and introduce the STS team that's joining the call today. Today we have Catherine Holyfield, who I'm sure you all know. Catherine is the STS National Database Manager for Intermacs and PDmacs. We have Carol Crone, who is the Director of the STS National Database. We have Emily Conrad, is the Patient Safety Manager. Excuse me. She is an integral part of the audits as well as the planning and the coordination of EQO. We also have Leanne Jones. She is the STS National Database Manager for General Thoracic and the Congenital Heart Surgery Database. I would also like to introduce my colleague. I only have one on the call today from Kirkland Solutions. Today we have John Pennington. He is the Director of Data Management, and he is our go-to person for data, data sets, data integrity, all things data. So today I'm going to be going over some upcoming changes to the way that we handle RVADs and ECMO within the database. At the end of the webinar, we will have some time for question and answers. It's a great time to ask any questions you may have. So please feel free to enter any questions you have into the Q&A function, and we will answer your questions today. So what's new? AQO was awesome. I would also like to let you know that we did make a change to users in the database. If any user at your site has not logged into Intermacs or PDmacs within the last 120 days, their accounts have been inactivated. If they do need access and we need them to be reactivated, just reach out to us and we can get that taken care of. So again, anyone that hasn't logged in the last 120 days, their accounts, they won't be able to log in. So just reach out to us if you have anybody that needs to be reactivated. And just a reminder to enter all your data by October 31st to ensure that it's included with the Q3 reports and SAS data sets. Did I miss a slide? Oh, yes. AQO 2023 was awesome. Thank you all for those that attended. We had some really amazing presentations with great content. All the lectures and live discussions that took place during AQO were recorded and are available now for viewing. Don't forget to evaluate the sessions and claim your continuing education credits. To receive CE credit, you must watch all the on-demand and live content for the days you attended, then evaluate all the presentations. The deadline for claiming credit is Friday, December 29th. I believe AQO 2024 will be in person possibly next September. So mark your calendars. There'll be more information coming on that. We're actually going to do a poll here, I believe, for AQO 2024. So Catherine, do you need me to stop sharing or anything for you to do it?
No, I can go ahead and start that.
Okay.
I believe. So as Patricia mentioned, we have some just some polls for AQO 2024. So I'm going to go ahead and launch the questions, and if you can just be sure and answer them all, and then we'll switch to we'll keep moving through them. So this first question is, which database do you abstract for? And it's a multiple choice, so you can answer more than one.
We're on the wrong questions, Catherine.
Okay, sorry. I wondered
No,
about
you're okay.
that.
That's all right, but thanks everybody for answering.
Woo!
If you go scroll down in the polls, you'll see one that says AQO. And when you end this one.
I was like, those sure do look familiar.
Yeah, you could go ahead and end it.
Okay.
It looks like everybody responded. Or just about everybody. And then if you
Click on the dot, dot, dot.
I think go to back, hit the back button.
Gotcha. Scroll down.
And then number
AQO.
10.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry. Number 10. Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay, we're gonna try this again, everyone.
Take two.
Yeah,
Take two.
take two. AQL, there's 4 questions. I'm gonna go ahead and launch it, and you can go ahead. Launch. There we go. It's 4 questions, single choice. Go ahead, y'all.
I'm just going to talk through these a little bit. So the first question is, did you attend AQO in 2023? Yes, no. And then the third option is not yet, planning to purchase the content. Enjoy the Hot Topics webinar in December. We will have the content of the on-demand and the live recorded sessions along with all of the Q&A ready for purchase. I forgot what Emily just said when we're opening it, but it's coming soon. We'll be opening that, and that's how you get an invitation to the Hot Topics webinar. So either you joined AQO Live in 2023 or you purchase this content ahead of the Hot Topics webinar. That'll be the first or second week in December. I think that's what we're planning right now. So that's that. The second question is, if you're going to attend AQO in person, we have a site picked. We're just waiting for confirmation on the contract being signed, and we shared after the contract being signed. It will have limited attendance in Intermacs, will be scheduled with on the general same day as general thoracic. So we're looking at a Wednesday. I think it's a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in September. We just want to make sure we get the word out that it will be live and we will have limited seating. So first come, first serve. If you're not going to be able to join in person, do you plan on purchasing the recorded content? And then if you plan to attend or hope to attend in 2024, are you paying for it? Is your employer paying for it? Will you be paying for it? Will you split the cost with your employers, or not able to be joining in person?
Thanks, Carol. A little rusty there. I'm a little rusty there. Sorry.
No, you got it. Welcome back.
Right into it on a
Welcome
webinar,
back.
Catherine.
I think we're good. I think those who are going to answer probably have already answered. So we
Yeah,
can
I think
go ahead
so.
and,
I'll go ahead and end it.
Yeah, and share the results and walk through.
Okay.
And then hit share results. So for the first answer, it looks like we have 25 people out of the 44 that responded. So over half that plan to attend in person. It would be great to have you. About 20 or 43% are not able. And everyone answered. Oh, that was 2023. 25 out of 44 said yes, that they attended. 19 said no. And nobody's planning to purchase the content and join the Hot Topics webinar. That has not already purchased content.
Right.
AQO 2024 is going to be in person. About 45% said yep, they're planning to attend. 14 or 32% said not sure, and 23% said no, they're not able to attend. And then purchasing the recorded content. We do have about a quarter of the folks who said that they would be purchasing the recorded content. And then it looks like majority, 60% have employers paying. Approximately 23%, 25% said that they either are splitting the cost or they're going to be paying completely out of pocket for attendance. And the near 20% who said they wouldn't be joining. So thanks, everybody. We'll share this with our marketing and meetings team and with our STS staff leadership, and just so we're able to best get information out to everybody in streamlined fashion. So thanks again. Thanks, Catherine.
Sure, thanks. Okay.
Okay, COVID-19 update. I always give this update. I just want to do it again. So telehealth, televisits are encouraged. Quality of life surveys may be done over the phone or by mail. If follow-up visits are done outside the visit window, please enter the last date of the follow-up date, the follow-up window, as the follow-up date into the database. And then you have 30 days after the follow-up window due date to enter the date for the COVID-19 exception. If you have any questions about this, feel free to reach out to myself or Catherine. Here is our contact information. Kay Holyfield at sts.org, patricia.potter@curso.net, and intermacsfaq@sts.org. If you have any questions or need any data corrections, please feel free to email myself or Catherine. And if you have any database operational questions, you can email the Intermacs FAQ at sts.org. So we have some important dates coming up. Please remember to enter all your data by October 31st to ensure that it's included in the in the quarter 3 reports and SAS data sets. And those reports will be distributed around the end of the year, around December 31st. November 29th will be our next user group webinar. This will be our last webinar for 2023. But we are looking at in early 2024 doing a new data manager webinar. So this will be geared towards new data managers who are just getting started in Intermacs or PDMacs. Be kind of just going back to the basics, just entering patients, where to find resources. So stay tuned for more information on that. That will be coming next year in 2024. And that will be recorded. So you can always go back and watch that if you'd like to, or anybody's welcome to join. If you would just like a refresher and would like to join that webinar, that will be open for everybody. And like Carol said, we'll have our post AQO Hot Topics webinar sometime in early to mid-December. We're finalizing and announcing that date very soon. During that Hot Topics webinar, we'll be bringing back speakers and discussing any questions that came up during the conference that needed a little bit more discussion, so we could get back to you on that. Similar to last year, anyone who registered for AQO sessions will have access to the Hot Topics webinar. And as Carol and Emily said, if you did not purchase AQO and you would like to do so, you still can, and that will give you access to the Hot Topics webinar. And we'll be notifying you with a link to join. So looking forward to that. Okay. I am going to now go through the changes to the way we handle RVADs in ECMO in the database. So just kind of to recap, right now and in the past, the way we handled this was if an RVAD was implanted and at any time, if it became attached to an oxygenator, so it was functioning as ECMO, we would ask, because it's not an ECMO database, we asked you to explant the device. So you would go in, you'd complete the explant form and remove the RVAD from the database. Then if the oxygenator was detached and the patient was now just on an RVAD, we would ask you to, at that point, re-implant it. And so it wasn't giving proper capture and painting the right picture of the number of devices the patient had and kind of the course for the patient. So we're changing that. So there'll be no longer implanting and explanting RVADs depending on the oxygenator. So moving forward, the change is going to be that once a device is functioning as an RVAD, meaning it's not attached to an oxygenator, it will be entered into the database. If any time after that time it has an oxygenator attached and is functioning as ECMO, just leave it. And we've added some additional questions to some of our forms. And it's nothing lengthy, it's just one question with a child question on the pre-implant form, the death form, the explant form, and the implant discharge form. So 4 of our forms have an additional question with one child question. So it's not going to be anything that's real labor intensive, but it will save you from having to implant and explant multiple devices. So the first change will be on the implant form. We've added the question, and these changes will be going live in the next week or two. So all of this is recorded, and we will be updating the user's guide to reflect this. Our forms on our website will be updated to show these additions. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or Catherine. So the first question on the pre-implant form ECMO, present at the time of durable MCS implant, you can select yes, no, or unknown, and then you can enter the total number of days the patient was on ECMO. On the explant form, was the patient on ECMO at any time since implant of their durable LVAD? Yes, no, or unknown, the total number of days. The death form, same question, was the patient on ECMO at any time since the implant of their durable LVAD? Yes, no, or unknown, total number of days, and the same on the implant discharge form. So I know that's a big change. I hope everybody likes this change. I think it's going to save a lot of time from, implanting and explanting all of those RVADs. So feel free to ask any questions. You can put them in the Q&A function. Do we have any questions yet on this? Nope. Okay. So I'll just go ahead and open it up for the remainder of the call for questions and answers. Go ahead and put your questions in the Q&A function. Questions related to the RVAD ECMO changes, go ahead and put them in there, or just any Intermacs, PDMacs questions you may have. So it looks like we have one question from Cindy. Hi, Patricia. Just to clarify for the COVID-19 televisits, other registries stopped doing this as of May 11th, 2023, when the president ended the pandemic precautions. Will this continue indefinitely for Intermacs? Great question, Cindy. I don't know. I think we're going to need to discuss this internally and make a decision on this. But as of right now, it's still applicable to Intermacs.
Yeah, I can add something, Patricia. Yeah, it's a great question. So we have a Intermacs, our task force call on next Tuesday, or next Monday. We have it next week. And so we'll definitely take this to the task force and let them guide us as to what we want to do.
Thank you, Catherine. So stay tuned, Cindy. More info coming on that. Does anybody else have any questions? Or comments, anything at all? Hey, Tandra, if a patient is on ECMO prior to transfer to your facility, do you select previous ECMO under prior cardiovascular intervention on the pre-implant form, or do you select ECMO under clinical events and interventions during this implant hospitalization? So I would guide you to select it under clinical events and interventions during this implant hospitalization, as it was a transfer to your facility. They were never discharged. They were just transferred to you for LVAD evaluation. Would you agree with that, Catherine?
Yes, I agree with that, Patricia.
I think, and you know, I often get these questions about how to handle transfers. Is it considered that hospitalization or a prior? And because it's a transfer, and they were not discharged and went home, I consider it all one hospitalization. You're welcome, Tandra. It would be nice if the responsibilities of the transferring center, patient changes is always, who is always following them. Is this reflected in Intermacs?
You mean if there's any changes? I just want to clarify. It'd be nice if the responsibilities of the transferring center of patient changes.
I think they might still be typing. Maybe.
Yeah. So I just want to clarify, are you asking like, if obviously we know if a patient transfers from one hospital to the next. So are you, can you please just clarify if are you asking about like when the site that received the patient is updating the patient information?
Okay, so for example, if they change from UCMC to Ohio State. So before the patient is transferred from UCMC, all the documentation should be entered into Intermacs up until that transfer day. Usually, you know, the last time they saw the patient or the patient was in their care at the hospital, all that documentation should be entered in Intermacs before they transfer to Ohio State. And then Ohio State would be responsible for entering any data, any AEs, any follow-ups, anything after that transfer date. I hope that answers your question. Anybody else have any questions? Just while we're waiting on a few more questions, I did want to also note that our next webinar will be November 29th at 1 p.m. Central. And like I said, that will be our last webinar for the year because our next webinar would fall during the week between Christmas and New Year's, and a lot of people have time off. So November will be our last one, and then we'll pick right back up at the end of January. Okay, so, I'm not sure that is really what happened. So written guidelines would be helpful. We do have instructions related to transfers within our user's guide. They're on our website. But yes, that is supposed to be the process. All documentation by your site needs to be entered prior to transferring the patient, because once that date is entered and the patient is transferred to, for example, Ohio State can't go back and, you know, do any rehospitalizations or document on anything prior to that date of transfer. So it doesn't all need to be done by UCMC. If a patient is admitted and ends up getting an exchange, do we enter hospitalization AE or is it counted in the implant hospitalization? So if the patient already has a device and they come in to get a device exchange, you do need to enter a rehospitalization AE, and then you would complete the explant form to remove VAD number 1, and then you would implant via the adding, I think it says add new device, to add the new device. Is there any way for the transferring program to see adverse events added once the patient transfers, since it will be reflected in our quality reports? No, so it won't be, Tandra, it won't, Catherine, correct me if I'm wrong, but it won't be included in their quality reports. It would be included in the implanting center's reports, not the receiving center, correct?
Correct.
Okay, yeah. So Tandra, anything that happened prior to the patient transferring to your center will not be reflected in your reports. It will be in the implanting centers. Came in for infection. Yeah, so if the patient came in because they had driveline infection or a pump pocket infection or something, you will complete the rehospitalization for that infection. The primary diagnosis can be major infection. And then obviously if during that rehospitalization they received a device exchange, it can all be entered within the same hospitalization. If we implanted the patient, but they transferred out, is there a way to see adverse events captured by the accepting program? If you type in the patient's Intermacs ID, you should be able to see the continuation of the patient. It's just all going to be grayed out. Similarly, if you accept a patient, you should see all the previous data on the patient, but it's all grayed out. Here's some of these out of here. So no post data once they transfer out. You should be able to see it, Tandra. You should be able to see that the patient is still active in Intermacs, and the information after the transfer should be grayed out. I can't see information after transfer, only their Intermacs status. Okay, Raquel, I might be wrong. John, do you know? I know you can see previous data.
Yeah, I thought once they transferred out, and the new hospital could see everything and edit things, but that the old hospital didn't see anything. Transfers are a little bit of a black box for me, though.
Okay, you can't see anything. I'm sorry, I misspoke. Okay, so only the receiving center can see the previous data, but they shouldn't be able to edit any of it.
Correct.
So while we wait for just, some more questions to come in, like I said, those RVAD ECMO changes will be coming in the next probably week or two. We're just finalizing some testing here at the data warehouse, and then those will be live. So if anything comes up while you're entering or you have any questions, please feel free to send them to myself or Catherine. And we'll probably go back over this once it's live on our November webinar, and we can get any feedback. All right, Erin, only the receiving center can see the data moving forward and past. They can only edit their own data. Yeah, past is grayed out.
Yeah, so like in the reports, because we key all that stuff off the center code, it wouldn't show in the hospital that it transferred out of. It would only show in the current hospital, and that's similar on the web-based data entry.
Thanks, John. guess we'll just give it another minute or two, see if we get any more questions. And then we'll meet again in November. And then after that, it will be our Hot Topics webinar, like I said, early to mid-December. So that's exciting. Our AE definition latest is version October 11th, 2021. I believe that sounds correct. John, you would probably know. That's when we did all the,
Yeah, I think that's when we updated with the art definitions.
yeah. And they should be on our website. It's one of the it's under one of the very first appendices. If you click adverse event definitions, they're all there.
Yeah, I was quiet. I was pulling up that exact date. It went out October 29th, 21.
Yeah. You're welcome. Catherine, anything else I might have missed that we need to mention? You think of anything?
I don't think so. I think that's it. You did great.
Thank you. All right, we'll give it another minute or two. And if you think of something after the webinar, go ahead and send us an email. We're here to help.
All right. Thanks, Patricia. Great job. Thanks, everybody, for joining.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all. Appreciate it. Have a good afternoon.
You
Yeah,
too.
you too. Thanks.
Bye.